Hi everyone, всем привет, Oksana here, welcome to my channel. Yes, it's Russian. So as usual, we are going on with learning Russian, and this video is about Russian adjectives, and I'm going to introduce to you two of the Russian adjectives, and I'm going to make it a little bit interesting, and I'm giving you two adjectives of the opposite meaning, and I think it is quite convenient and easy to learn them in such pairs. And if you are new to my channel, I actually made already a big enough playlist on Russian opposite adjectives. So if you're interested, please go over to the description under the video where I linked to that playlist and watch it if you are interested. So the two adjectives of the opposite meaning of this video are светлый, meaning light or bright, and темный, meaning dark. So we're going to be talking about the different forms of these adjectives, and I also will give you some phrases of how these adjectives can be used with Russian nouns. So without further ado, let us start with first of all the different versions of these two adjectives. So let me remind you that Russian adjectives, just like Russian nouns, can have three gender forms, and they also can have a plural form. And speaking about gender forms, the gender form of the adjectives that is that you can see in the dictionary, that is the adjective form that you can find in the dictionary, which is its default form, is always the masculine gender form. So they are like the basic form, and then we have the feminine and neuter gender forms. And first of all, let us go over them right now. So for the adjective светлый, which means light or bright, as in color, and for that we have the masculine gender form, which is светлый. Светлый. For the feminine gender, we have светлая, 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 and for neuter, we have светлое, светлое, светлое. And as for the plural form of this adjective, it is светлые, светлые, светлые. For the second adjective, темный, dark, темный is actually the dictionary form, which is the masculine gender form, so темный, темный, dark. Feminine is темная, темная, темная. Neuter form is темное, темное, темное. And plural is темные, темные, темные. So remember that when you're using adjectives with the phrases, first of all, you pay attention to the form of the noun. So if the noun is like for example, of a feminine gender, and in its of a feminine gender, you have to use an adjective of a feminine gender as well. The gender forms don't come into play when the noun is in its plural form. So when the noun is in its plural form, it doesn't matter of what gender it is, because for each of the gender there is only one plural form. So that is easier, but still it has to be paid attention to. So now let us go over some examples for each of the forms. I will give you some phrases and we'll translate them, and maybe we remember some of the set expressions that I'll give you today. So here we can see some of my examples for all of the gender and plural forms of the adjective светлый. Let us go over them, and I'll give you the translations and explain the unclear parts. So for светлый in the masculine gender form, light, we have these examples. First is светлый фон. Светлый фон. A fon means background. So the whole phrase светлый фон means a light background. Like when you're making a photo or some picture, you can have like the background there, and it can be either light or dark. So in that case, we have светлый фон. So we can say that it is some kind of a set expression, светлый фон. Next, we have светлый маникюр. Светлый маникюр. Manicure means manicure, and of course, if you are using light colors in your manicure, you can say that it is a light manicure, and it is translated as is into Russian, светлый маникюр, using the masculine gender form of the adjective светлый. Светлый маникюр. Another example is светлый человек. Светлый человек. Человек means a person, and roughly it can be translated as light person, but of course it has a more clear meaning. So when we say that a person is a light, meaning светлый, we mean that this person is very kind, is very nice, like brings positive energy. So in that case we use this phrase светлый человек, saying like, oh, he is such a светлый человек. Он такой светлый человек. He is meaning that he is a kind, nice, and like pleasant person. So светлый человек. So I encourage you to remember this phrase. It is a set expression when describing a such kind of person. Светлый человек. Next, we have examples for the feminine gender version of the adjective светлый, which is светлая. So we have светлая комната. Светлая комната. Комната means a room, and saying that a room is light is, of course, we of course mean by that the room is like very spacious or full of light, like coming from the windows. So that is how this phrase can be translated. So светлая комната meaning light room, a room full of light. So комната here, pay attention, is a noun of a feminine gender, and that's why the form of the adjective is also feminine. Next we have this phrase, which is светлая голова. Светлая голова. So голова means head in English, and if we translate it roughly, saying light head, it will be like sounding like meaning that the person has like is off in his like orientation, like he is a little bit nauseous or something like that. But in Russian it means completely different thing. Saying светлая голова means that this person with such a notion is that this person is like very bright, very like clever, has like a quick mind, wit, so very wise a little bit. So in this case, светлая голова in Russian means that, and like to translate it in English, we can say like this person is very wise or clever. So светлая голова is another expression that I encourage you to remember. Next we have the neuter gender examples for this adjective, which is светлое. It has to be used with nouns of the neuter gender. So here we see the first example, which is светлое будущее. Светлое будущее. Будущее is a noun of a neuter gender, and it means future. So to translate it correctly into the English language, we'll have to translate the adjective светлое as bright. So we get this phrase bright future, which is of course very clear has a very clear meaning in Russian, and has the same meaning applied to this expression светлое будущее, meaning bright future. Again, set expression that I encourage you to learn. Next we have a little bit fun or a relaxing example, which is светлое пиво. Светлое пиво, пиво meaning beer. So if you drink beer, you know that it can be either light or dark. So that is how the light beer phrase will be translated into Russian, saying светлое пиво. Светлое пиво. Next we have the plural form of this adjective, which is светлые. Светлые. So here we see the first phrase, which is светлые волосы. Светлые волосы. Волосы means hair. It is a noun in Russian in its plural form. And here we are describing the general color of the hair. Hair can be either dark or lighter color hair. So here we have светлые волосы, meaning light colored hair. And the last example is светлые тона. Светлые тона. Тона means colors, and Светлые тона means light colors, so it is what it is, like just translated word for word. So these are all of the examples for the different versions of the adjective светлый, meaning light or bright. And now let us go over to the second adjective of this lesson of the opposite meaning, which is темный, meaning dark. So for the adjective темный in its masculine gender form, we have these examples. First is темный коридор, темный коридор, темный коридор. Коридор meaning corridor, and now that it's clear that темный коридор means dark corridor or dark hall. So that is the meaning. Next we have the example corresponding to the example with the adjective светлый. We used there светлый фон, meaning a light background, and here we have темный фон, meaning a dark background. So светлый фон, light background, and темный фон, dark background. Next we have feminine gender versions, темная, meaning dark. So we have here темная ночь. Темная ночь. Ночь is a noun of a feminine gender, meaning night. So it's why it's used with the feminine gender adjective. So темная ночь means dark night. Ночь meaning night, темная meaning dark, dark night. Next we have темная история. Темная история. История, I think you know, it means history. So темная история means dark history, like when you hear some history which is very unclear and with some shady events in it, moments, you say that, oh, this history is very dark. That's a темная история. Темная история. For a neuter gender, we have the adjective темное. So we can say темное прошлое. Темное прошлое. Прошлое meaning past. It is a noun of a neuter gender. It is used with an adjective of a neuter gender as well. So темное прошлое means dark past. So remember how we had this phrase светлое будущее, meaning bright future. And here, like the opposite of it, we have темное прошлое, meaning dark past. Like shady past, like whichever appeals to you, whichever translations. Next we have темное пространство. Темное пространство. Пространство means space, so темное пространство means dark space, whichever situation can apply to. I think it is the type of phrase that is used a lot in the like fantasy plots, like in books or movies. So темное пространство, dark space. Next we have another example corresponding to the example with the adjective светлое. We used here светлое пиво, light beer, and here we have темное пиво, meaning dark beer. And for the plural form we have this here, темные очки. Темные очки, dark shades or dark sunglasses. So очки meaning shades or sunglasses, and they are always in the plural form, and that's why we're using the plural form of the adjective. And here we see also the second example, which is темные силы. Темные силы. Силы means forces. So темные силы means dark forces. And again, I think that is the phrase that can be seen or heard a lot in fantasy movies or fantasy books. So that's like when magic is involved, I think. So it's another cool example of how this phrase or this adjective темный can be used. So that is all for the examples. I hope it was interesting, and it is good to see both of these opposite meaning adjectives and some corresponding examples where they can be used, like with the background фон, светлый фон, темный фон, or with пиво, светлое пиво, темное пиво. You can also say here светлые волосы, you can say темные волосы, dark hair, or light, bright hair. So that is the examples, and of course what you have to do right now is to learn these two adjectives, their meaning, and practice writing down all of their versions, and that will be like a great step up in broaden up your vocabulary, Russian vocabulary. So that's all for today's video. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down in the commentary section under the video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this your likes, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on my further lessons. and please give enough time to your studies, stay safe, and I see you very, very soon in my next video. So goodbye!